Hey guys, I'm here for part 2 of this little heart-to-heart that I'm going to be having. Alright, where I left off was the breaking point for me of not speaking to my dad. I think the breaking point was I was sort of delaying it because he was paying for my cell phone bill. And they say, don't bite the hand that feeds you. So I didn't want to, say anything that would make him angry or anything, and I wanted to wait till I could afford to pay for the phone on my own. So, and I didn't want to feel obligated to have to pay him. So, eventually, I got a phone, and I joined on my mom's plan, so I only have to pay her $38 a month, which is perfect for me right now. And I love the phone that I have. I record my videos on it. I use it for everything, so I love it. And so yeah, I got my own phone, and I was sort of delaying when to send it back because I wrote a really long letter about all the things that I wanted to get off my chest. And so yeah, and I think I pissed off my Nana a little bit when I got my new phone because she wanted, an explanation, and I guess the message didn't send to her when I sent the text message. I sent one to people saying, this is my new number and all that. So I sent one to my grandpa, and I guess the one for my Nana didn't go through, so she was I think she was upset that she heard it through my grandpa. But, yeah, she's like, you got a new number? And I was like, yeah, I did. She goes, when did your other contract end? And I was like, I have no idea. And she goes, well, so is your dad going to be stuck with the termination bill now? And I was like, I don't know. He doesn't have to terminate the phone until the contract is up. All I know is I don't need that one anymore. I'm paying for my own now, and that's, I spoke my piece. And I think she might have been a little mad about that. But, my Nana asked me about, what's the deal? And I told her, I don't really want to talk much about it. And my older brother, Jordan, he stopped talking to my dad long before I did. And my dad's done a lot of shitty things and said a lot of shitty things to him. And I guess my oldest brother blabbed to my dad about him getting a new phone, because my brother Jordan got a new phone as well, and I guess he blabbed, and he was, going on about, all the stuff I did for you, go on with your bad self and all this stuff, and I'm like, are you kidding me? And then my dad called my Nana and told him, and then I was staying at their house at the time, and she said, Jordan got a new phone and left Dad with the $180 termination fee. That's wrong. That's so wrong. And I didn't want to say anything because I was gonna do the same thing the next day. Literally the next day I went and got a phone. I was planning on it already, and I was like not saying anything because I felt kind of bad. I didn't want her to get mad at me. So, yeah, I got my new phone, and after a while, I was carrying both with me because I didn't send the one back yet. So I wrote the letter, and I sent the phone back. And I had this bank account that I was not able to access because the account was created when I was a minor, and my dad was they call it the custodian of the account, so he was the only one who could do transactions for the account. So I went to cash a check, and I've cashed multiple checks from them before, and it was fine, but this one time they said, you're a minor, you're not the custodian, so you're not able to, they said you were a minor, and you're not the custodian, so you can't do anything with the account. So in the bottom of the letter, I said, unless you send me a check for the money from my account, I don't want to hear from you, which sounds bad to some people, but I had to do what I had to do. And yeah, I got a letter. I got a card back with the check in it. And I was hoping that there would be some type of apology in there, but it said, you know, I didn't see your childhood and early adulthood the way that you did. And you know, I'm your dad and I love you, and may you find peace in your anger. And it's not really that I was that angry. And the one thing I didn't really want to hear from him, but if it was an apology, that would be cool. I still wouldn't speak to him if there was an apology, but I deserve an apology. And no, nothing. May you find peace in your anger. Okay. But, yep, I got the money, and that's that. I forget, I was thinking of something else that I wanted to bring up while I was talking about it. What was it? Yeah, there's just a lot of things that were said and done that I did not really like last year for Christmas. And what the Christmas situation is, we spend Christmas Eve at my mom's, and then between 12 and 1 we would go to my dad's. And in years past we would go to my dad's, do our thing, and then go to my uncle's house. But they moved back up to New Jersey. And then we would go to my Nana's house to have everything. So last year we had our thing at our mom's, and then we went over to dad's, and you know, his car wasn't in the driveway, and sometimes he put it in the garage, so I was like, this car's probably in the garage. So I got there, and me and my brother got there, and you could see the tree lights are always on there, and the door is usually unlocked because he never locks the door of the house, and it was locked. The tree lights weren't on, and he said, you know, he wasn't going to be able to get presents this year for Christmas, which is perfectly fine. If you can't afford presents, that's fine. There's more about Christmas than presents. So I got there, and I was locked, so it was like, he can't still be sleeping. So I got my key out and opened the door and looked around the house. He was nowhere to be found. So I called him. He says, Merry Christmas. I'm like, where the hell are you? And he goes, oh, I'm in Ocala with a friend. I'm probably not going to be home for another 2 hours. Every single year we come over at this time, and you're not there. So we're pissed. So we go over to my Nana and Grandpa's house, and that last year for Christmas, I handmade everyone something. I crocheted stuff because I didn't have a job at the time, and I couldn't afford to buy presents. So yarn is relatively inexpensive, and we still have a crap load of yarn here, of like just regular medium worsted weight yarn. So I crocheted Christmas ornaments for everybody. I did like 2 or 3, I think, for everyone, and I made some golf club covers for my grandpa. And my dad got there, and we did like a little present exchange, and of course my dad didn't bring presents because he said he couldn't afford them. And you know, I handmade everything, and he didn't even get anyone a card. You can spend 49 cents on a Christmas card in the store, but he didn't get anyone a card. Meanwhile, this was before he was laid off, so he could afford to drive all the way to Ocala all the time to see his boyfriend, but he couldn't afford to get anyone a Christmas card. I didn't have a job at the time, so I handmade everything, and he couldn't even get a card. Couldn't even make a card that said Merry Christmas on it. And that's another thing that killed me. Was like, you said that you can't afford to get presents for Christmas, but you can afford the money and gas to drive 2 or 3 hours out of your way to go see somebody. That's one of the other turning points for me. That really killed me. And my brother didn't know that. My dad never even told him that he was gay. And so my brother didn't know the real reason why my dad wasn't home on Christmas morning. And he said, I wish you would have told me, because I would have punched him in the face. And I was like, if you really wanted to that badly, you could still do it. And he goes, no, I couldn't, because it would be considered a hate crime, which is completely true. My brother, I wouldn't really say that he's a homophobe, but he's less tolerant of homosexuality. And, if he were to, he's not going to do anything because he doesn't speak to my dad anymore, just like I don't. So, there's no chance of him doing anything, but if he were, he could technically be arrested, and my dad could press charges, and it could be considered a hate crime because he actually knows that he's gay now. So yeah, that is part of the reason why I don't talk to him. And I feel like I really needed to elaborate on this situation because people sort of get on my back about it a little bit, and they say, he's your dad and you only live one time and you shouldn't regret anything, and just the thing that he's your dad and he's still the same person, but him being gay really is not the reason why I don't speak to him. It's a lot of other things. And like I said, I've always felt a weirdness around my dad, and when, we talk on the phone, you do the love you too, bye thing, but he's always the first one to say the I love yous on the phone, and every single time I would say I love you too, I felt like I was lying, because I don't love my dad, and I think that's awful to say. I'm not upset about it, but you can't really control the feelings you have for people, but I can't say that I love my dad, because I don't. And every time we spoke on the phone, for years and years, I never felt like I meant it when I said it on the phone, and I don't mean it, because I do feel kind of bad for saying this, because I don't want anyone's feelings to be hurt, but I do not love my dad. I don't. And I don't wish to, really, because I don't particularly like him, but people are kind of judgmental about it. They're like, well, he's your family. Well, that doesn't mean I love him. I don't love my dad, and I'll be the first one to admit it. I don't. And I'm not upset about not speaking to him. I like not speaking to him. Not speaking to him leaves a lot of drama out of my life that I don't need. And I have a lot less guilt on my shoulders for it. And, yeah, a couple months ago, I was going to Orlando for my uncle's birthday party, and I wanted to stay with my cousin and her boyfriend. I don't think that they're together anymore, which is really upsetting, because they've been together for a long time, but, anyway, I wanted to stay with her at her house, and I was kind of feeling bad about making that decision, because like I said, I don't love my dad, but I didn't want to hurt his feelings by not staying at his house. So I had this big debate with myself, and I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm going to stay with my cousin, and that's the end of it. I want to have a good time, and I'm not going to be miserable. So we went to the party. So we got there, it was the same day of the party. So we went to the party, and my dad is the first person to be like, oh, I miss you, I want to spend time with you, we need to hang out, I miss you, and all this stuff. And then the boyfriend who wanted me to meet at my graduation was supposed to come, but I guess it wasn't his scene. So my dad left the party early to go be with him, and immediately all of my guilt went away for wanting to stay at my cousin's house because I didn't want to hurt his feelings. So my dad claimed that he missed me so much, but he left the party early to go spend time with his boyfriend. So obviously he didn't miss me as much as he was saying, which is perfectly fine with me because I'd rather be with my cousin anyway. But I said that to her, I'm like, that's so shitty, it really is. And yeah, so I stayed at my cousin's house, and I do not regret it one little bit. I just regret feeling so guilty about wanting to stay with her at her house. So, yeah. Just a lot of things that are built up that I'm just done dealing with. So, that is that. And no one else is going to sway me from my decision to not speak to him. I don't plan on speaking to him ever again, and you know, that's just the way it is. I've never wanted to be walked down the aisle by my father at my wedding. That's just not something I've ever wanted. Initially, when I was a little girl, I was like, you know, I want to go alone. But then as I got a little bit older, I was like, you know what, it's either going to be my mom or my brothers. And now that my brothers are in the military, I would love it if they would walk me down the aisle with their military outfits on. I think that would be one of the most amazing things. So I would really love for that to happen. So, because I've got one in the Navy and one in the Air Force. So I would love it if the two of them were on both sides of me in their outfits, looking handsome, and, you know, just to have them be there. So that, I just really would like that when I get older. So that is the saga of my little heart-to-heart why I don't speak to my dad anymore. Maybe I can go get some breakfast now, because after I talked on the phone to my great aunt, I really wanted to get this off my chest. So I didn't even put any makeup on. I didn't do my hair. It's looking a mess. I don't have any makeup on. I didn't eat my breakfast yet. So, yep. Thank you for watching the two-part saga of, you know, this little discussion. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. And if anyone ever needs anyone to talk to, just shoot me a message or, you know, or whatever. Make me a video. Like I said in multiple videos, I'm not fairly popular on YouTube. I don't have a lot of subscribers. But I am here if anyone ever needs to talk about anything. If you need to get anything off your chest, I'm here to talk to you. I have no problem with it. So if anyone ever needs anything, just send me a message or leave a comment in the description, or, you know, whatever you want to do. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.